Hello, and welcome to episode one of my Seattle Sentinels NHL 21 30-second team expansion. Now that EA's gotten most of the bugs wrung out of franchise mode, I figured I'd finally give franchise mode a crack. I'm going to use the November 4th rosters. So the good news is the Laffy draft class and all the free agents are in the right place. Of course, the trade off of that is then you get you get kind of a phantom draft class to make things right, and you got to adjust the contracts. But I mean, you pick your poison, and it just, I did a couple practice runs, and the player pool felt better with the current rosters. Um, Ian Baxter, Ian's my son, Baxter's my dog. That's kind of my go-to name, if you care about that sort of thing. Just quickly this is for me, I just want to check in case I need to go harvest screens, like uniforms look correct. I mean, I never actually play any games, but you never know. So it's my Tacoma Tigers playing right down the road from Seattle. So they're gaudy, they're yellow, but hey, what are you going to do? I've done some I mentioned that I've done some dry runs to get myself familiar with the player pool. It seemed fair. On the other hand, I'm also going to bound myself by the reality of what my scouts say in this particular run. Like, if my scouts say a guy sucks, then I have to listen to my scouts. If my scouts say a guy's elite, then I got to believe my scouts and believe he's elite. Okay, we're going to put Seattle in the West as expected, and probably move Arizona because that's the most talked about realignment. I'm going to turn off owner mode. I don't care about the price of hot dogs. Add the contract year. That's necessary. I'm going to leave Fog of War on. Um, I think it adds something to the game. I'm going to turn off player morale because I don't like micromanaging those meetings where they sit and whine at you. And everything else looks pretty good. So, we're going to get ready to go. In terms of research, in terms of speeding this up, I have kind of four basic groups of players. There's teams where I know which guy I'm going to take. There's teams where it's down to one or two guys, and maybe it's going to come down to positions. And then there's I don't care because there's a lot of guys in kind of a similar boat. And then there's I don't care because there's pretty much nothing to take, and whoever I take is probably going to get jettisoned fairly quickly. So, but I did do kind of a few dry runs, so this wouldn't be me hunting and pecking for 2 hours. Because I don't think I'd want to watch that, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't either. So, all right. We are locked and loaded. And the first thing I want to do is take a quick look at my coaching staff. I'm not going to make any changes to it in the first season, but I want to at least know what I've got to work with. So I've got an offensive head coach. Pretty good. I mean, lots of A's and B's. That's not bad. So Stefan Roy, Damian McBain, a generalist. Okay, and my Emrit Domi, also a generalist. Physical guys. Marcus Bednar. Teaching A plus. My minor league coach, also an offensive forwards guy. So the styles will match. Offensive Gainey, Kozanov. Vernarski, a C teaching as a goalies coach. Might want to jettison him, but I'm not going to mess with it in the first season. So, okay. Like I said, I don't care who I have as my coaches, but I like to at least know what they look like the first coming out of the gate. So, let's get cranking on this. And let's see, I'm picking third in this draft. And I always feel guilty if I get the number one, so I'm kind of glad I didn't get number one. On the other hand, if you get down past 5 or 6, I do kind of like having a high pick, so there's at least one kind of franchise guy to build around or whatever. So I kind of like picking in the top 5. All right, so I'm going to just kind of go down the list, try to make some quick picks here, and then maybe based on what I already kind of know, and then tweak it. Now, Sonny Milano says he's elite, but I happen to know left wing is pretty easy to find guys, and there's a lot of free agents at left wing. So even though he's the elite, I am probably going to go with Brendan Gould instead because he's also young. He's younger. He's top 4D. I mean, so and it's a better positional thing. Okay, well, here we got a couple young elite defensemen, Capobianco and Sari Yarvi. I think maybe the big difference is Sarjärvi is a right shot. Oh, and he's fast too, which are two things I like. I mean, in real hockey, right shots are kind of hard to come by. Boston, the big choice here is Andre Kasha versus Jake DeBrusk. Um, Again, DeBrusk is probably the better player, and he is a year younger. Uh, he is going to have to get paid, and the other thing is right wing's a little bit left wing's good in the free agent pool. Right wing's kind of a vast wasteland. So it's I mean I like DeBrusk better, but Kasha may be the safer pick for now. Um, so I think we're gonna go with Kasha for now. Now Buffalo is an easy choice. Buffalo's Eric Stahl. Technically Okposo is elite, but I mean he's an 80 overall and he's had health issues. In real hockey, he's had health issues and been out of the lineup. But so that's not. Take a quick look at goalies. Nothing there. So that's the other thing. Every once in a while, a surprise comes up. I mean, like one of my practice runs, the Flyers put Voracek on the block. Giordano, I don't want to be saddled with 6.6 million till the guy's 40. And they got Rittich, who's a starting caliber goalie, so I'm going to go with Rittich. Carolina, it's either Brady Shea or Niederreiter. They're both decent players. They're both about the same age. They're both about the same salary. I mean, they're decent goalies, I guess, but I I think I'd rather have some anchors on my team, and it's really just a question. I mean, Nedlovich, or however Nedeljkovic. I don't know how you pronounce that, so I apologize. 24 and a starter caliber is not bad, but I mean, Shea or Niederreiter could really be kind of solid building blocks. So I think I'm going to go with Shea. He's a little bit higher overall, a little bit more. He's elite versus top. Okay, Chicago is one of the teams where it's just kind of generally it's been kind of blah, but okay, Edsel. He's elite, but he's kind of a clunky power forward. He's not a sexy elite. And he's already 25. He's not particularly young either. And just check goalies. No, okay, they don't have a goalie worth taking. I guess it's gonna be Edsel. I mean, like I said, Chicago's kind of blah. Colorado's another one. They got guys. There's nobody particularly sexy on their team. Oh wait, Anderson. Okay, he shows up as elite. That's actually a bit of a. And Werner's a 23-year-old starter. That's not bad. But I mean, I think you got to go with the elite. I mean, if your game's going to give you a 21-year-old elite defenseman, you might as well take him. All right, Columbus. Here we got since right wing's a weak position, I think you're looking at probably doing Nyquist or Atkinson, and Nyquist is rated better, so let's go Nyquist. This has generally been an easy one. Rope Hintz, he's 23, he's prospecty and he can play now, so he's kind of the guy. The only danger with him is he's due to get paid. Now Detroit. Every once in a while, someone bubbles up and looks good. I mean, Nielsen's 36. I need guys I can build with. I mean, Ernie or whatever, Ern or however it's pronounced. Jamel Smith or Giovanni Smith, or the other Smith. Giovanni Smith, he's bottom 6. I mean, though I always like going with Bobby Ryan. I mean, he's cheap. I mean, he's talented enough player. Okay, here in Edmonton, you got Barry, you got Bear, and Bear's 6 years younger, and he's showing elite. So 6 years younger, and okay, he's getting paid, but he's cheap. So Florida's in kind of the doldrums, except okay, Sorella. Okay, he's showing his elite. So I mean, you got to build the minor league system too. So I'm willing to believe my scouts and say yes to Sorella. Strawman would be the only other real option, but. I mean, $5 million for an 82 overall. Kings are a team with not a lot to choose from. I mean, they got Jonathan Quick in goal, but it's like a $6 million goaltender. Okay, based on the rankings here, Amadio is a possibility. Maybe Wagner or Luff. I mean, Martin Firk, if you want a kind of dependable bottom six guy or a depth forward, but you can get those guys in free agency. I mean, Amadio's got some room to grow, I guess. He's, yeah, like I said, quick. Yeah, too expensive even if I was considering him. So I get just kind of look at age and see if any. Okay, Wagner's the youngest of them, and then Luff. Eh, yeah, I mean, none of these guys are really jumping out as A-listers. I think I'll go with Amadio. It seems like he's the best compromise choice. Now, Minnesota's got a couple really expensive guys available. You get Spurgeon, you get Johansson, but their prospecty choices aren't great prospecty choices. And again, they got Cam Talbot as a starter, but I already got Rittich as my starter, so I don't know that I need two starting caliber goaltenders. I mean, so, Sokolov, top six, 69 overall. He's young. So Johansson, he's expensive. Belpedio, also a possibility. Okay. It's probably either going to be Sokolov or Belpedio. I mean, again, neither of them, I guess Belpedio, and neither is really blowing my skirt up. Montreal's kind of dregs. There's nobody here that's really exciting. I mean, a right wing's bad, but an 80 overall doesn't help me. And then it just gets worse from there. And their prospects, I mean, Juleson's all right. Lekkonen's tolerable in a pinch. I guess I'll go Juleson. He's a year younger. Room for him to grow. The prospect, okay, we could go with Jusei Saros as a goalie, or even Ingram, or on the prospect front, Luke Kunin, 22. Again, he's going to get paid. He's going to have to get paid if I take Kunin, but 22 is the age where I could shove him in the minors for a year if I had to, or I could play him. It's usually Jesper Bratt for the Devils. I mean, now Islanders, there's a lot of sort of interesting guys, but then again, Eberle, kind of, you get consistency if you go with Eberle. I know a lot of people tend to take, when they run theirs, they tend to do Hosang. I don't dislike Hosang. He seems like the sort of guy I could try to get in a trade later. I always kind of respected that he had the balls to wear 66 when he first came up. So I mean, but I don't know. He's just not quite. If you were a year or two younger, I'd say yeah, go do it. But for now, I guess I'll take the consistency and have at least kind of one starting caliber guy, and probably go with Eberle. I mean, just one last check here, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Doesn't look like it though. So Eberle it is. Rangers is a pretty easy choice for Ryan Strome here. I mean, yeah, repeat the refrain. He's going to have to get paid, but I'll have salary cap to work with. There's really nobody else on the Rangers that's even worth considering. So Strome it is. Okay, Ottawa is one of the places where I might take a goalie. Chalapik is elite, but then again, the Philip Gustafson kid, he's shown as elite, so I'll send him to the minors and let him start every day and see what becomes of him. Flyers, I always kind of thought Philippe Myers might be interesting. He's a right shot defenseman, he's young. The Pens, this is one of the difficult ones, because Tristan Jarry really shouldn't be exposed to the draft. They protect Casey DeSmith, which makes no damn sense at all. Now, in terms of day one guys, Aston Reese is kind of interesting, but he's going out of the prospecty phase. I mean, here's where the scouts would say take Jankowski because the scouts are saying he's elite. I don't in real life, I don't believe Jankowski's elite, but this is one of those where that's what the scouts are saying. So maybe I should do what the scouts say. I personally, I kind of like Tanev if his contract wasn't 6 years. I mean, I kind of like him as a bottom six guy, but not for 6 years. Um, so I guess it's probably gonna be Jankowski because this will be where I kind of stick with what the game is telling me to do. Because all right, San Jose. Oh, Brent Burns again. But then again, okay, we got Shimilevsky, Dahlin, or Brent Burns. They're all elite. Burns has the Giordano problem. You're paying him. He'd be fun to have, but you're paying him until he's 40. Dahlin is up for a contract, so you could probably try to get him in free agency. Whereas Shimilevsky is cheap, and you got salary control. He's the youngest of so let's go with him. All right, St. Louis. Unless I want to, Perron's good, Pareko's good. However, I do need a goalie, and I know in some of the times I've run through trial runs, Ville Husso's come out as a decent or even starting caliber goalie. So let's take a look. Oh, he's elite. So why don't I make him the backup? And all right, we now have 3 goalies. Tampa. I really like Cirelli a lot. On the other hand, okay, the game is telling me I have the possibility of a 21-year-old elite medium in Cal Foot. I mean, but Cirelli's one of these guys that seems underrated to me. He's like a 22-year-old who's already been playing for like 3 or 4 years. He's got a low. He's never going to be a top sixer, but as a third line guy, he's pretty great. Toronto, not a lot to choose from here. I mean, Brody, he's technically elite, but he's also making $5 million. Engvall would be kind of a budget. Dermott would be an interesting pick. I don't think they have a goal. Oh, Dell, if I needed just kind of a caretaker goalie, Dell's not bad. Engvall's kind of in the middle. He's like top 6, but he's 24 and he's cheap. And he's big. I don't have a lot of size on my team so far, so I think Engvall's going to be... For the first pass, let's do Engvall and see how things shake out. Okay, Vancouver has the same problem as Pittsburgh. Demko really shouldn't be exposed, but they do have Braden Holtby. But in real life, if they had known the expansion draft would have been coming up, they probably would have waited to sign Holtby until after the expansion draft. So I'm not going to take Demko. That seems like it's cheating. So, but then the problem is the rest of Vancouver's choices basically suck. There's it's your choice of old guys or prospects who never quite panned out. And I mean, at the bottom, you got a kind of few. I mean, a top 6D, a bottom 6 forward. I mean, honestly, I think I'm just going to take Jasic just because right wing is that weak. But I don't really, see him having much of a future with the team. All right. Daniel Sprong, I mean, he's interesting. Like, Johansson was one of those guys. He was like a top prospect like 2 years ago. Now he's just showing his top 4. Vanacek, okay, he's shown as a backup. I have to go with Sprong. I mean, he's not great, but like I said, right wing's kind of weak, and he is fast. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go with Sprong. I mean, and also I'm from Pittsburgh, and he's an ex-Penn, so I kind of occasionally go with Pens around the margins. All right, and that leaves Winnipeg. So they don't have a goalie worth taking. Back to skaters. Nothing really leaping out at first glance. Let's do a sort of... Oh, wait, we got... Okay, hey, elite defenseman. All right. I think that kind of makes our decision for us. So, Luca Green we have as an elite defenseman. All right, so we probably ought to kind of like walk through the positions. Left wing, we only have 2 guys, but then again, the free agent pool's pretty deep there. Center, we've got three real centers, two kind of bottom sixers, and a couple prospects. Right wing, okay, we're not as bad as I thought. We got Kasha, Nyquist, Ryan, Eberle, and Sprong. So we actually got decent people there. Defense, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but it's something you could fix in free agency. And Rittich is our starting goaltender. I mean, I actually think this is pretty good. I actually think right wing is looking better than I thought, so I think I might actually flip Kasha and DeBrusk. I think DeBrusk's a little bit better player, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think that is getting close to being done. Again, DeBrusk and Bratt, and then I'll get some free agents. Stahl, Hintz, Strome are top three. Yeah, I mean, that's a top. I got 4 lines worth of right wings. Defense is young, but there are guys there. I might need to get 1 or 2 more in free agency, though, just to kind of even it out. And I got 3 goalies, so 2 guys for the majors and 1 for the minors. I think that'll do. So, and there's the final list. And at that point, I think we will finalize it. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and continue and do the draft this episode as well. It should be fairly short. In my first year, I generally don't do a lot of trading picks. I just kind of get my picks and I do my thing. So I'll at least go through the draft interview process and look at what we got here. Picking third, oh, we have a franchise guy at number 1, a left defense DFD. Picking third, Rory Alenko is looking like a guy. Aginla, I like the name. Jamie Yoshida, also elite. So we got a couple elite guys here. Obviously, Alenko is kind of the main guy at my slot. And I don't know. I always have a preference for like flashy offensive players. So I guess he's probably my leading candidate out of the gate. I gonna just quickly blow through and see what they. I usually do strengths, weaknesses, and readiness to assess how close to the NHL they are. I'm not even sure I'm going to keep in future years. I may just cut this part, but at least for the year 1, I'm going to take a quick look at the whole interview thing. Okay, yeah, okay, he seems pretty cool. And cusp of competing in the NHL, so he may not be ready this year, but he's going to be hopefully ready soon. He's 6'2", big kid. He's only bad news is he projects as a 2-way forward, which is kind of for chemistry purposes. A lot of A's and B's. Aginla is kind of okay. Couturier is his comp. That number 2 is Nick Backstrom, but I don't think he'd be available. Aginla is decent, but he's going to be pretty small for a defenseman. Meanwhile, that number 1 guy, that franchise guy, is Chara. Yoshida's PK Subban. You wouldn't be if someone goes out of order and takes. I think Alenko's the top pick, and then Yoshida would be my backup if someone does jump out of order. Usually, the first round, the CPU pretty much stays with the central scouting, but every once in a while, you'll see the CPU do something weird. So you always want to have at least 1 backup choice, kind of below your slot, or even maybe one or two above your slot, just in case. Okay, yeah. Oops, I accidentally asked about his weaknesses twice, so I don't get to see how soon he'd be ready. So I think I know what I need to know for that. So I'm going to go down to 35 or my second round pick and see what the pool looks there. And, well, we got Radulov. Ooh, it's the popular meme Alexander Radulov at home. Big kid. I think I'm going to check on him, see what sort of stuff he's got. Ooh, he's a sniper type, I guess. Weakness. Okay, he's a wimpy sniper, but he's a tall, wimpy sniper. And he is going to be, how ready is going to be? He is going to be, a few seasons. Okay, well, whatever. I think he's probably, he's a few slots below, but I think he might be my pick. I mean, I guess that Smith guy is like the pick before my pick, so I don't think he'd be available. Okay, so I think we got an idea about our first 2 round picks, so let's get to it. Dun, dun, dun. Start the draft. Like I said, year one, I don't screw around a lot with trades. It's just, I don't know. Other years, I might get a little fancy, but for this, I'll just kind of go make my picks. All right. So, okay, Samsonov and Bayer go as planned. That puts me on the clock, and I think Galanko's the guy. I don't see any reason to not take him. Having a possible number one center, and that's a good thing to get. All right, at pick 35. Now we're in our second round pick, and let's see what we got. And yeah, that Smith or whatever got taken. So Radulov looks like the best guy on the board. Yeah, this guy's, C's and D's. Yeah, let's go with the elite. It's not. On to the third round. Like I said, kind of get in, get out. All right. Elite, but a grinder for Suni, which isn't particularly exciting. And Bellamy's more of a two-way defenseman. I feel like grinder might be a bit much, so I think I'm going to go with Bellamy and go with the two-way. I don't mind DFDs, but grinder / enforcer, never been crazy about those. All right. Oh boy, at slot there's a bunch of crap. I guess he's a top 6 forward. Is there an elite anywhere around? Okay, Bernard, but he's an enforcer. Ooh, there's a pack of elites down around 118 to 120. Again, they're not great, but I know I just said I was not going to do any trades, but I'm thinking maybe I'll try to drop down a little bit and get into that pack at 118 and make my pick then. So let's just put that pick on the block. Let's see who's willing to offer. And I want to stay in this year's draft. I want to start building a minor leagues. 104 is pretty good. 122 will be a little too late. Let's see what the best deal we can get is. And also, it seems like we're bouncing between 6s and 7s on the other pick. So, Vancouver. Okay, that's at the front end of that block of elites, and it's a good 6th round pick. So let's do that. Okay, easy enough. So let's go sim to our new pick. And so we got Lannon, Tolnai, and Ferrario. How do you have an E defense and be a defenseman? That's weird. E puck skills, D physical, D defense. Oof. This guy's not that good either. C's and D's? That's not. Again, though, he's a grinder, so I'm not sure he's sexy. The funny thing is, I did this trade, and I'm not sure I like any of these guys. I did already take a defenseman, so I'm not, and I did already take a center, so I'm leaning towards the right wing, even though he's a grinder. And I don't like grinders, but you can trade them later. So let's go with Ferrario. On to the 5th round. And okay, we got Bouchard, who's an elite OFD. A little further down, we have an elite goalie. That Bouchard's pretty good. Elite speed. That's tempting. On the other hand, elite goalie, Leonard Sogas. I might regret this, but I think I'm going to take the goalie. I don't know. I feel like having a goalie in the system. I may kick myself later if Bouchard turns out to be decent. Okay, somebody wants my sixth, but no, I'm not going to do that. Let's make my pick. Okay, what do we got this slot? Nothing special. Ooh, a bunch of AHL crap and Melanson. 6'2", decent size. I mean, sniper style. Not too bad. I mean, I have to go trade Wade. Might as well take Melanson. Looks like I'd have to trade down to get any sort of elite talent level. So let's just get that guy. Continuing. And, okay. Nyquist. Another Goonie guy. But a big corn-fed mule at 6'3". So, there is that. Let's go ahead and take him. Late rounds, I'm not even sure I care about Grinder anymore. I mean, second, third round, I kind of want more skillsy guys, but this far down, I'll just go. We're doing scratch-off tickets. We're just trying to find somebody good. All right, so I think this is my last pick. So I think in this case, Tomas Pirns. I think this is my last pick, so I think I can pretty much just go as far down until I find an elite. And just grab an elite. Alright, we got a couple guys. Leonov, I haven't taken a left wing yet, so that's kind of tempting. I need a playmaker. And then Pisinen, however that's pronounced. I'll go with left wing. I don't have a left wing yet. So Boris Leonov becomes my last player in the draft. And that's going to take us to the cusp of free agency. And that is where we will go ahead and pick it up next episode. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.